This is a Stipple Wild video, so if you don't have Stipple Wild, you can stop watching. I'm going to go into some detail on custom dot shapes, which is a new feature that was just added in July of 2020. Um, so I'm going to launch Stipple, and when this gets loaded, I will just hit start drawing, and we'll start with a blank canvas. So to start, let's go to the dot shape menu. And if we go to import, and this is how we import dot shapes, and I'm going to go to download, and I'm going to pick this rainbow shape. So now, as is, if we start drawing with this rainbow shape and our color is black, you'll see that we just end up with black dots. However, if we change this color to white, then we will get the rainbow effect that was on the original dot shape. Now, the reason for this is that the way that the dots are colored uses a blend mode, and if you're familiar with Adobe products, it's called multiply. Basically, what that means is that the dark stays put, something that's black is going to stay black, and anything that is lighter than the selected color is going to get colored with that. So say we were to use blue right now, you'll see that the lighter portion goes dark, and the stuff that's less, it gets colored blue. Parts of it get colored blue. It's somewhat hard to predict if you're not familiar with the multiply blend mode. However, that's how it works. So if you use white, it doesn't do any coloring at all. So it's a little bit easier to understand. Let's go. I'm going to click custom because I already have a couple shapes loaded. So now if I were to pick just this white shape, you'll see that this white shape is going to use whatever color I select. Right? However, when you're using a dot that is already colored, you probably, in most cases, want to just stick to white, and then you won't be doing any coloring at all. So keep that in mind when you're making custom dot shapes, that if you want the shape to change color, or if you want parts of the shape to change color, use white for those parts. Let's see. Transparency is also recognized, as you can see by the faded edges on this, that it comes in. It's a little bit fuzzy on the sides. So you can use transparency when you're making a dot shape, and that way, that even though everything you load in is going to get shrunk to a square, everything is going to get forced into a square shape. So if you put in an image that is wider or shorter than a square, it's going to get squished. But keep in mind that you can always use transparency. So what you can do is, if your shape doesn't fit into a square, it just shrink it down, get it into a square shaped box, even if that box itself is mostly transparent, and then just stick to, and then it doesn't matter exactly what shape you are putting it in. So let's see if I can demonstrate what I mean. So say we use a shape. I'm just going to use this, which is just some random image. All right, now you see how it got warped in the preview section. So if we were to draw with this, let's make sure we're on white. You'll see that it's squished down into a box shape. So if you wanted that to come in, let's see, let's show, if you wanted that to come in as more of a square shape, what you could do is go and, let's see, crop this. Oh, Jesus. What is all this crap? Yeah, well, you get the point. I don't feel like starting this video over just because this particular app wouldn't load. I guess not all apps are quite as stable as Stipple is. However, crop it into a square shaped box and you won't deal with that distortion. So Generally speaking, I'm gonna stay away from anything that's not just a square to begin with. Um, Now, if you're making dot shapes, actually, let's go over this. So say we want to save this shape that we imported. Hit the save button, and if you're in custom, what I mean by custom is say this is nature, but if I click this drop down and go to custom, you'll see that this dot just saved in there. And now if I were to, I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like waiting for it to load. But if I restart Stipple, that dot is going to be in there. And if you don't have save permissions granted to Stipple yet, it's going to ask you if you can save. So just hit yes, and then you'll be good to go. So as far as making dots go, I was somewhat reluctant to even introduce custom dot shapes because there's so many rules you got to follow. Like you got to make sure that you've got transparency, otherwise you're just going to be drawn with boxes, and you got to make sure that your main color is white, otherwise you're going to be doing weird color stuff that you didn't intend to do. There's a lot of rules you got to follow in order for this to be successful. However, it is a pretty cool feature, so I'm glad I added it. Um, I don't have any tools set up to help you make custom dots. So say you had an image and you wanted to use it as a custom dot, but it had a background on it. You're gonna have to use another app to get rid of that background. You could use Photoshop. I use Illustrator for pretty much everything as far as dot shapes go. I'll either make a clipping mask or use one of the various tricks you can use in Illustrator, and then just save it as a PNG. Make sure the box is a square, and you'll be good to go. If we do want to do something very simple, and I'm actually probably going to run into trouble if Google Photos is still being annoying. Let's see if it is being annoying. All right. Just making sure before I get into this. Um, so if I were over here, and I'm going to turn the draw image off altogether, and then I'm going to just make a uniform dot size. Actually, wait. I'm going to use the pencil. Usually forget about the pencil, but it exists. So pencil, if you never used it before, is controlled by brush size. So if the brush size is big, you get big dots, small dots. So say I wanted to use this as my custom dot shape. So what I would do is hit save, save this. Now turn the background off and hit save. And now come into a program that allows you to do cropping. All right, I'm going to go find this image. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go to edit, and then I'm going to crop, and I'm going to do my best to get a square shape. But this should be good enough. And hit done. And then I'm going to save a copy. Then I'll come into Stipple Wild. I'm going to hit trash. Go here, go to import. And just so you know, everything's being smashed into 144 by 144 resolution. So anything bigger than that isn't gonna make a difference. Anything smaller than that is probably gonna come out kind of crappy. At bigger sizes, at smaller sizes, you might not even notice. But even at 144, you might find at the biggest size that things kind of come out crappy. Um, so we imported this dot shape, although it looks as though Google threw a background on it, and yes, it did. All right, so if you were using a better editor, you could save with transparency. However, you can't do that here. But anyway, you get the point. Had the transparency been preserved when I did the save a copy, we would be drawing with we would be drawing with these 3 dots. So that wraps things up. That's some advice just on how to make stuff, how it works, the ins and outs of everything. It's not perfect. As you can see, even in this video, things didn't go right. So just keep all this stuff in mind, and have fun. Let me know what you make. And again, I generally speaking am going to be sticking to an external app to be making my dot shapes. They're just going to come out better. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and until next time.